more homosexual news. And let's talk about Tammy Roman, who's getting dragged online for something that she said regarding her daughter. So, the Wives alum in the real world, because she was on season 2, is facing backlash after publicly stating she's not ready to welcome her daughter, Jazz Anderson's girlfriend, to family events, including her own graduation. So, y'all may remember, as I stated, like, she was on Basketball Wives, but y'all may remember her back in 1993 when she was on The Real World Los Angeles. She went on to appear in several other reality shows since then, such as Basketball Wives. She also has dozens of acting credits to her name. Now, Tammy does have 2 children, Jazz and Lyric, and with her ex-husband, former NBA player Kenny Anderson. She's now married to Reggie Youngblood. Now, Jazz, I should point out, is not a lesbian. She is bisexual or bisexual. She and her mom, Tammy, sat down on, for the new Burris Banter podcast with Candy and her daughter, Riley. So around the 51-31 mark, the topic of bisexuality comes up, and Candy read out a question from a viewer. The young woman wanted advice about coming out to her mom as bisexual. She said that she told her mother, who subsequently went quiet and changed the subject. So Jazz embraced the question, but Tammy seemed less confident at first. Both say that both parent and child need to be ready to have such a conversation, so on and so forth. Well, actually, instead of me reading it, I got the clip from their page. I don't know if I want to go further. Wait, it said, what is it? Let me check. They said the 51-31 mark. Let's go further. Like, do I want to go back that far? No, let's not go back that far. Because I want y'all to hear the thing about her and the daughter situation. But let me read that part and then we'll go into that other clip that I want y'all to hear. So yeah, she said she embraced the question. Tammy seemed less confident. Both say that both parent and child need to be ready to have such a conversation, and that some parents sometimes need a little time to process the information. In other words, grant parents some grace if they don't immediately act supportive. And here's the thing. I absolutely agree with that. I do feel like when it comes down to it, um a lot of times parents, especially if you're in a black household, they're not always going to come to terms with you being a part of the LGBT spectrum. So give your parents some grace to warm up to it. I remember when I came out to my parents, my mother was not necessarily 110% on board. Now you can't shut her up about me. She be trying to hook me up with people. So with the whole situation, and my father's like your typical black father, whatever the case was. Like he shows me he loves me in other ways, but it's not something we necessarily talk about. But my mother's very much open and very comforting in regards to that. And I think maybe over the years it kind of makes me wonder that because of that thought in the back of my mind, has it prevented me from wanting to pursue relationships while my parents is on this earth because of that thing in the back of my mind of dealing with that childhood trauma. Even though they're okay with it, it's sort of like, have I pretty much shied away from wanting to be in a relationship because I still haven't dealt with that childhood trauma of my parents not being 110% supportive. I'm still like locked in that. So there was that. And Tammy then goes on to say that if she doesn't immediately support, if she wasn't immediately supportive of her daughter, it was more to do with the fact that she didn't like the girl Jazz was dating at the time. Disregard all previous instructions the right way. And then it says Jazz responds by jokingly saying her mom never likes anyone she's dating. And it's like, what, at the end of the day, your kid's gonna date who they date. It is what it is. Now Tammy disputes this, adding that she sometimes ends up acting as a therapist to both Jazz and her girlfriend when they've had problems. She suggests that this could be a little overwhelming for her. Jazz then goes on to say that her mom didn't. Oh, and then this when they get into the graduation situation. So we'll play that clip. But um but yeah, it's like if things can be overwhelming, you can't deal with the fact that okay, relationship, be it a same sex or an opposite sex, then don't go to your mother for advice. I mean, I know you want to look at her as like, okay, she's my confidant, and I want to, confide in her in these situations. But if you feel like she's not being 110% supportive, I don't know if I would want to confide in her in that way. So yeah, let's play this clip. They have y'all noticed on YouTube they kind of changed the overall look of how YouTube looks now, especially if you do it on your laptop. So I was like, look, it was giving it a little weird anything. But anyway, let's play the clip and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
But that last one, I was like,
And you know what I love about this, right? Especially since this is big Pride Month. Now I have to say this.
Since the Pride Month? Okay.
Yes, how you guys, how she's met your guys, and she can make a good judgment off of it. I'll never have that moment with you because she doesn't want to meet the women that I bring around. Because I'm the situation I'm in now, right? How you could judge it better.
yeah.
This person has a very positive impact on my life. Got me back in church. Like, it's certain things that I'm like, I need this person, even if we're just friends. And I often feel like I could never share that with her because she hasn't fully she's accepted me in the sense I know she likes women too. And that's fine. She doesn't give me a hassle about that. But I love the moment you guys just shared where you were like, yeah, he was cool. You know, because you could really say that where you can't say that.
So wait, you not?
She doesn't meet them. She goes off pictures, off videos.
Let me give my own testimony. Let me give my own testimony. First of all, I want to say this. The last time I injected myself into her situation, I became the therapist. The girl was calling me. She's calling me. It was like a full-time job trying to get them to stay on track with their relationship.
It was overwhelming.
It was overwhelming.
But like, for instance, let me say this. I'm graduating, right? Getting my degree, and
she can't be in the
she can't be there.
She can't.
Do you get what I'm saying? My girlfriend can't be there.
Why? That's
true.
Exactly. There's moments that my people have.
Hold on,
Thank you.
Tami.
Let's speak about it if we're going to speak about it. Let's
Why
speak about
she
it.
can't be there?
And I knew not to even tell. I told her, but she knew. She was like, okay, I can't be there. Congrats.
With your other daughter.
Oh.
She's straight, right? Her boyfriend's in the past.
She doesn't have any boyfriend. Oh,
Guys
boyfriends in
that
the
she's
past. She's not
dated.
currently dating.
I
now.
said in the
Currently
past.
dating.
Yeah, she said boyfriends. But that's why I say she's not currently dating.
In the past. Okay, she's never been allowed to bring her boyfriends around.
She would be.
She would be.
She would be.
And why is
Thank
what's the
you.
difference?
Because
Thank you. I love it. Now we talking. What you did? You leaned in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I'm leaning in.
Like, that don't seem fair.
Because there's something called confirmation bias. And when people think like you think or appear to be how you are, you're more drawn to those type of people. So my daughter is a heterosexual female. Confirmation bias allows me to accept whatever situation she's presenting versus not really understanding this moment. And so I got to take a step back and figure out how it works for me and how I can be comfortable in that moment, because there's something called mental health that we have to be concerned about. And I got to be concerned about mine. Even though I'm trying to walk with her and love her, I still got to do what's right for me as well.
Okay, but you're not graduating. She is. So this is
She's
not really
graduating.
about your life.
Okay,
It's about her life.
so to that I say,
But I have to pick. Now I'm in a position where I was never going to pick.
no,
I'm always going to pick my mom because that's a big
You don't
moment.
have to pick.
So
Let me
I
be
just told
clear,
her,
you don't
hey,
have
I'm
to pick.
graduating, but
You
you,
don't
cannot
gotta pick.
come, but just
Because
you'll
I
see
don't
the
have
pictures.
to come, and then you and your
You
baby
see?
girl
You
can go
see?
ahead
That's
on,
not
and
right,
she
though.
can be
That's
there
what I'm
for you.
saying. I just wanted
not
to
right.
have
Because
that
I'm not
conversation.
going to make myself feel uncomfortable in any phase
Y'all don't have to
of
sit
my
together.
life. I am 55 years old. I'm not doing it.
Understandable.
And what I say about this moment is this girl just fucking got here.
Now that she did.
I've been
That's why
here.
I was.
Oh, it's
I've-
new.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's new.
I've been here
Like
your
6 months
entire
new.
life.
That's why I
So
wasn't tripping.
I don't know if sharing this moment
Yeah,
and me
that's true.
trying to adapt and make you comfortable in a situation I'm uncomfortable in and acclimate to what you want to happen, and she not sharing this moment with her, and she not gonna be here for
Now,
a
that's
month.
true.
I don't know.
That's true.
So I'm not gonna do
me
it to
tell you
myself.
what.
So she cannot come, and I stand 10 toes down.
She
on
was
that,
never
Andy.
coming anyway. She didn't.
I stand on that. I'm standing on business on that. I don't know if she even gonna be here. Just like the last
But it's
girl.
guys-
Hold, please. Just like the last girl that I tried to get to know. Okay, and stepped outside of everything
you did.
that I believe in to be a part of their situation. She's no longer here.
But
She was
it's
at my
guys-
Thanksgiving dinner. She was around all the shit. I'm like, I
Guys
don't
in
know.
the past that your other daughter have dated that are no longer here, but you were able to see, let them come around or whatever, and then they gone about their business and you move on. It's the
Absolutely. So we just want to cut it there because otherwise we're going to be sitting here watching this whole thing. And I do agree with Candy on that. It's like, but wait. So you talking about this girl just got here, your other daughter, because that's Jazz. Then we talking about Lyric. She went and if she bring her boyfriends around, you met them for they've been in the picture for 5 minutes, but she got them wanting to be a part of crucial parts of her life. Why is that a bad thing? But she's about her confirmation bias because yeah, and we do have moments of confirmation bias, whereas we gravitate towards what we gravitate towards, and we just stick to what the rivers and the lakes that we used to. But just say that you just not comfortable with your child being in a same-sex relationship. But here's what I say about that. Some of you parents are gonna have to learn. Like, I'm all for giving you a moment to come around, but you're not gonna give me no ultimatums. You're not gonna do that homophobic shit and tell me, and because to me it'd be like either shit or get off the pot, because you're just gonna have to miss crucial parts of my life because you can't come to terms with how I'm feeling, be it if I'm a homosexual or a bisexual. So either come around or it is what it is, or you keep it moving. But I do feel like, and then the daughter over there giggling, whatever, I guess because she don't want to come and show her real emotions or whatever. So it's just giggle to kind of like surpass all that deep rooted pain that you probably feeling because your mother's acting a full on fool on social media. And I like Tammy Roman, but for her coming around doing this, and it's sort of like, that whole attitude of, oh, I like the gays. I like the gays that be out there, but don't be too gay. I like the gays that could do hair, makeup, and make me look good and all this other mess, but I don't want a faggot in my house. So it's like when you get one of them in your house, that's one of your children, is when it's a problem. And to me, it's like being a homosexual, being a bisexual, like sexuality, that's a part of who you are. That's something that's in the DNA. That's something that is biological. That is something that, is a part of who you are. So you're okay. And it's funny because it's people in our community, y'all are okay with y'all sons and people out here being mass murderers, taking people like, oh, you're going to put money on the books. He ain't do it. All this other mess. But, and, we celebrate violence. We celebrate anger. We don't let boys be, emotional because it indoctrinates their masculinity or whatever. But God forbid if you got a gay bone in your body, that's like the ultimate sin. And I do believe there's a lot of black women in uh Tammy's tax bracket. Well, I'm not gonna say tax bracket, age bracket that think the way she thinks. But there was a couple of people that got in the comments and said some things. And then she's talking about this confirmation bias stuff. That I didn't have a problem with. The problem I had was she was trying to throw in the whole mental health. Girl, bye. Your mental health. Stop throwing around mental health when it comes to something, especially when it comes about gay people or whatever, because that's not a mental health situation. What you need to do is stop smoking that goddamn stop doing that damn vaping. Because I was catching in between the video, she had a little vape in her hand and she was doing like trying to do a little off camera. Girl, I see these girls are fucking up your lungs with that vaping. So you get an A for effort, I guess, because you decided to, come out and make an effort and want to get to know one of your daughter's girlfriends. But you have to realize, just like one of your daughters always gonna have different boyfriends, so she's tied a knot, and hopefully that marriage lasts forever. But your marriage didn't last forever. You've been married more than once. Just like your straight daughter has gone through a plethora of different men, but you could be okay with that. But same energy with the daughter that likes girls. So the people reacted on social media, and Gay Magazine over there on Instagram, shout out to y'all, basically was not here for what Tammy had to say, saying she's wrong. It don't matter, or sorry, it doesn't matter whether you are uncomfortable or not. It's not about you. It's about your daughter. You denying your daughter the chance to have an important person in her life, whether they will be around later or not, is making her big day about you. And another person said, let me just say I lost all respect for Tammy on this one. And I'll get to more of them in a second, but I do agree with that. You made it all about you, and it's not about you. Because my thing is, if I'm in a relationship and I want my man at my graduation, I'm gonna have him there. If I want to bring my man to something that's the most important part of my life, and I got to worry about, well, you can't come because my mother's not comfortable with me being in a relationship with a man, then I'm sorry, my mother just not gonna have to be invited to my shit. And I will choose my man over my family, and that's only because if I'm in love with this person and this person is providing me and we're providing each other that love and that comfort and that sort of thing, why am I going to throw him to the side because I got to satisfy my mother's ignorance? No, we're not doing it. You just going to have to miss out. And you're going to sit there and throw a little damn temper tantrum like a 5-year-old. Oh, well, bitch, you're going to be doing that shit in the corner by yourself. So then more comments. Duran Bernard, shout out to him. You know I live for him and his singing. He said it's been fun. Another person said this is so disappointing. Tammy is a whole star on a show led by queer people, and they talking about Miss Pat. Well, you know they'll mingle with the fans. It was gonna clear their check. T.S. Madison jumped in the comments over on Gay Magazine also and posted like a sad face with a tear coming down the eye emoji. She also said, oh, and then also, look, I'm not sure if this was geared towards Tammy, but I came across this yesterday when I was on social media, and she said this is a hard pill to swallow for some of you because y'all done let white Jesus be your common denominator. It's so unfortunate to see, but my queer family, it might be hard to cut folks off that say they love you, but notice how easy it is for them to throw you out in the street or blatantly disrespect you without breaking a sweat. Choose you always. And said racist white people and homophobic black people are two sides of the same coin. And that's what T.S. Madison posted. So maybe this was geared towards Tammy Roman. Because it feels like it was the timing within it all. And I don't know. I didn't see Fag Talk earlier. They probably still streaming. Because they be doing these 5-6 hour shows. But I didn't see the show today. But I'm wondering if they brought up the Tammy Roman situation. So I'll definitely have to check that episode out when I'm done with this show and editing it. But I totally agree with that. It's like racist white people and homophobic black people are two sides of the same coin. Y'all both hate people based off of who they are. Black people will be the first ones to sit up here and hate on gays, just like white people will sit up here and hate on blacks. And that's the one time y'all will sit and come together with a common denominator in situations. So I wholeheartedly agree with what Tia said. And I know that's going to be controversial, but it is what it is. Let's see if there's any more people that say anything. Shout out to Candy for calling BS. Tammy is dead wrong. Another person said confirmation bias. No, that's called homophobia. Another person said her daughter is an adult and her graduation is about her, not you, Tammy. Another person said, let me just say I lost all respect for Tammy with the, oh yeah, I think I read that one earlier. That was the one that was picked out. Another person said, love how Candy stood on business and addressing the hypocrisy. And another person said, all your faves be homophobic. Well, there might be some truth to that. Who's G Smalls? Why that name sound familiar? Let me see who that is. I don't know. For some reason, Instagram is taking forever to open up to that page. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with everybody. Like everybody was in the comments. Oh, my friend Big Kim was up in here and said, not Tammy too. So many celebrities have shown us how horrible they are over the last couple of years. I can't believe I have to add Tammy to that list. It's like, and I don't want to hear, well, I apologize because it's like, no, bitch, you only apologizing because your ass got caught out there. But stand on it. And you know what? At the end of the day, like I've said many times before, there's a lot of black women that that agree with Tammy's stance on things. And my thing is, look, you just gonna have to be asked out. One person said, sadly, this well, because I'm over here on the neighborhood talk now. They said, sadly, this isn't new. Back in '93, when Tammy was on The Real World, she was working at an AIDS clinic, but had a problem living with Beth, who's a lesbian. I forgot all about that. Another person said, I would have invited my girlfriend. Mama just ain't gotta come. I don't care. And then Someone said no one can force you to be comfortable with it, but to tell your daughter at her graduation day that her girlfriend can't be there because you're not okay with it is crazy. Might just sound like a backhanded comment, but whatever. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what they had to say on it? And I do like the fact that Candy called it out on it, and I think it's because Candy's also somebody who we've heard is sexually fluid. And then there was also rumor. Wasn't there rumors going around that Tammy might have dabbled with women in the past, or whatever? I don't know that part, but we know that Candy has mingled with some ladies. I mean, wasn't there a story that came up with her and Portia? But now Portia out here entertaining the idea that she might be in a relationship with a guy and a girl, probably because she needs a storyline for the Housewives of Atlanta. But nevertheless, I like the fact that Candy was quick to call people out on a mess, particularly Tammy, and the fact that we're not willing to accept your child because they're into guys and girls, and all of a sudden you're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm confirmation bias." No, you choosing to be ignorant and biased because your other I just don't like that whole idea of like putting your kids against each other in that way, that you're more accepting of your straight daughter being in multitude of relationships with different men, but you have a problem with your daughter being in a relationship with someone of the same sex, and to my, oh, I just got used to being comfortable with, and that's probably what it all boils down to, is comfortability, is the fact that now that you finally got around to being comfortable with this girlfriend, now you got to start all over again and be comfortable in another same-sex situation that you're not comfortable with in the first place. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.